Hey everybody, welcome back. It said the curse of the unrecognized gamepad. Is it you, Logitech? Are you infecting the seeds? Making it harder for me to get good runs? Probably it's my own misplays, but I refuse to acknowledge that because that requires a degree of introspection that a content creator on YouTube and Twitch is incapable of either for, you know, original, natural personality defects or, you know, accrued moral and ethical debt after years and years of people telling you that everything you do is awesome. I don't know, it's a complicated thing. Anyway, the point is, I want to win more often. And I haven't really been doing that lately. I'm hoping that, I mean, this is an incredible start. Small rock from our first tinted rock. I wanted to say this at the time, but I was in the middle of a bit. It was a bit. Just because there was maybe a little bit of realness in it doesn't make it not a bit. However, I actually had almost forgotten small rock was an item. And that sounds like, oh, come on. But like, when I blew up the tinted rock and small rock was inside of it, I was like, ooh, a DPS upgrade? Already? Is it my birthday? It's not my birthday. You know, because then you would, that's the rollover period from me saying, I'm 30, to me saying, I'm in my 30s. I'm a man, I'm 40. You guys don't know, it's from the Dan Giesling Super Show. You should check it out sometime. The Greatest Show, Dan. Hugh Jackman and Daniel Giesling. Anyway, today's a Friday, TGIF. Nice day so far. I gotta tell you, though, I mean, I've been got a real advantageous Gungeon run coming out later, if it hasn't come out already. Recorded a Gungeon run that's just one of those runs where you go, whew, and a lot of your stress and negativity melts away. Really appreciate that one. Mario Maker's been fantastic. Looking forward to this weekend, though, you know? Looking forward to getting outside. Weather is actually like Vancouver summer. It's been a little bit mild, which is nice, but you know, not truly summer temperatures over the past couple of weeks, or maybe 3 or 4 weeks. But apparently this weekend is going to be very nice. I'm excited. What am I going to do with that beautiful weather? I'm going to walk outside. I'm going to spin some Pokestops. I'm going to play Pokemon Go and decompress. It's basically what it comes down to. Mario Maker, though, dude, it's been so much fun. I've been having such a good time playing Mario Maker. And a good time on Team Unity this week. We played Tarkov, it went very well. Played a little PUBG, had a little banter. Love playing games with those guys, getting their perspectives on things. This is an outrage. How dare you not give me an arcade when I have 6 Red Heart containers after the first floor? Well, I mean, they did give me an arcade, but you know what? I'm not apologizing. It was an arcade on the map, and when we went to it, the only thing located therein was a single bed and a man who wanted our keys. Does that strike you as an arcade? If you yelped arcades in my area, and then it took you to a hotel, would you be like, well, can't be mad? Probably not. I think you would be upset, so check this out. Check this out, dude. Just gotta give it a sec. He's done it. He's the greatest player in Isaac history, okay? Bow down. If you ever want to experience true high-octane Isaac gameplay, you just saw it. You just saw it. Nobody else said, well, I shouldn't say. I don't watch other Isaac games most of the time. Not out of disrespect, just, you know, busyness. And also, I see enough Isaac. I'm cool on the whole Isaac. I get it. I get Isaac. Don't worry about it. But nobody has the cojones to pull off a move like that except your old buddy, Northernlion. Okay, this is like, so far, basically the best run you could ever ask for. We have very, very great DPS early. We have 7 HP, which is disgusting. We just got another DPS upgrade. And we can definitely afford to invest. Let's not take that, but we can afford to invest in a Guppy Dream. And, I mean, we just took 2 items that don't benefit us, but could benefit us long-term, really. I mean, Guppy's Tail, you could argue, it does have a static benefit if you got enough keys, but most of the value for Guppy's tail comes from becoming Guppy. I think. Most of the time, at least. Now, you might be saying, you know, why trade a passive benefit for future potential? Well, let me tell you. The 7th... We didn't have 8 hearts, no. The 6th and 7th HP containers are also, in all likelihood, completely useless until later. Those are hearts that you exclusively have there in order to, you know, benefit you at a future date. If we end up needing our 6th or 7th heart container, because remember, you know, the only time it would actually matter is if you got down below the amount of HP that you actually, you know... If you didn't have that HP, you would be dead, is what I mean. Or you would be in a position where you would be close to death, at the very least. You know, that HP is a future benefit. And I honestly have started to realize that from playing Gungeon so much. That, you know, HP, it seems like an immediate benefit. DPS is an immediate benefit. Speed's an immediate benefit. For the most part, outside of arcades and maybe Deal with the Devil purchases, HP is it's something for later. Maybe you'll never need it, so you might as well turn it into something that could benefit you a little bit more. My 2 cents. Feels nice to talk about it, because until recently, we haven't had too many opportunities to be HP rich. This early, especially. Like, this is nuts. So, I'm thinking we will go into the curse room. Love it. Especially with the Spirit Heart added on top. And a Thame is beautiful, but we saved half a Spirit Heart for going in, which is why I wanted to go in the first place. Still need to keep our keys going, but a Thame is very, very nice, and certainly... Let's give it a try. I hate it. Certainly we want to make an effort to go to our shop as well, especially if we can actually, you know, get another key. And at this point, I'm like, would I open the other chest? Or would I just be content to go to the shop? I think we'd probably be content to go to the shop. This is always an interesting room. This is not Guppy's tail's fault. I mean, this is what this room looks like in all circumstances. So I don't blame Guppy's tail at all. There's no blaming to be given. There could be awesome stuff inside of those. For now... We got one glaring issue on this run, and that's just a lack of keys. And we did it to ourselves. Speaking of lack of keys, you guys know Lakitu? The cloud-driven enemy from Super Mario? Who do you think is the most annoying enemy in Mario? After playing Mario Maker, look, it doesn't have all enemies, for sure. You know, there's games that are not represented. Like that weird Super Mario Land game for Game Boy that was kind of like Mario. And it went... You know that one? It's you fought the Sphinx that shoots fireballs at the end of every level? What was up with that game, dude? Because, like, you know, Super Mario Land 2... The search for the 6 golden coins, one of the, you know, defining gaming experiences of my childhood. Beautiful game. So the inspiration for Toy Story, probably not, but really like inventive worlds. Super Mario Land 1, I have no idea what's going on. Why am I fighting the Sphinx? I just don't understand. I'm not saying, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm sure a lot of people watching this have very fond memories. I mean, even I have fond memories, but I just don't get it. It's like, you know, Nintendo, they weren't as protective of their brand back in the day, I guess. You know, you make Mario 1. People love it. Super Mario Brothers. Then they're like, you make Mario 2. They go, oh, hold up. It's too hard for a North American audience. Speedrunning doesn't exist yet. #1 speedrunner on Earth right now is Billy Mitchell. So they, okay, well, we'll just buy somebody else's game, Doki Doki Panic, and put Mario sprites into it. Still a pretty good game. Super Mario Bros. 3, we're back to the original formula. Okay, we gotta make one for our new console, the Game Boy now. One of the most popular selling electronic devices in history. You know what? Let's just make it completely different. than what we previously made before. Just the only thing that's similar is there's a man who jumps. And then the second one, let's take it back to a classic Mario formula, you know? Anyway, with that rant accepted, Lakitu is obviously a really, really bad enemy. As far as, like, being annoyed by him. It's not to say you can't make him fun and creative, but for me, I actually have come to the realization that I think some of my fear of deep-sea creatures is based on having played Super Mario World, which features Blooper the Squid, when I was, you know, at a formative point in my life. You know what I mean? I think a decent chunk of my fear there. I'm not saying there are no reasons to fear the deep sea, because I mean we don't know what's down there. I mean, it's like basically like an alien world down there. But I think a lot of it comes from the anxiety placed upon a child frantically swimming as fast as Mario can swim away from an enemy that seems to be behaving in a very strange pattern. Like Blooper, in the same way that Robin Hood, the fox from the Disney movie, is responsible for a lot of, you know. I wonder if Blooper is responsible for a rise in millennial fears of deep-sea creatures. I would be very interested to see that. My null hypothesis, I mean, by definition, the null hypothesis is that it hasn't. But, you know, it's like Owen Wilson says in the Royal Tenenbaums. Everybody knows that General Custer died at the Battle of Little Bighorn. But what this book presupposes is, what if he didn't? It's a bit of a delightful bon mot there. From the Sultan of Scripting, Wes Anderson. Anyway, I don't know if he wrote the script. He's definitely the director. You can tell because there's a wistful shot on the rooftop, introduced by a transition with incredible penmanship and calligraphy that said, "Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday, who could hang a name on you?" Man, Mick Jagger must freaking love that restaurant, right? When you change with every new day. Happy hour dinner for two. So let's get to the etymology of the joke, okay? There's a song in the Royal Tenenbaums. It's written by Mick Jagger, performed by the Rolling Stones. It's called Goodbye Ruby Tuesdays. Or Goodbye Ruby Tuesday, I should say. Ruby Tuesdays also became the name of an American casual dining chain, similar to a TGI Fridays or an Applebee's. And, you know, it's humorous to assume that Mick Jagger did not know somebody named or nicknamed Ruby Tuesday, but rather he was writing a song, one of the Rolling Stones' most melancholic songs, especially, it just enhances the humor, about leaving a restaurant that isn't really that good. You see, like it's got a little cerebral, but whoa, get out of here. You see that? Deflecting blows from all comers. I know what I said. All right, this run is still very good. We have one negative. Shouldn't have opened that. We have one negative, which is it hasn't gotten much better, although Blue Candle kind of is definitely a very good. Hasn't gotten too much better recently. However, we can get ooh, careful. If we can get a little bit, just like an arcade, a demon judgment, another guppy item to start, you know, making our confidence grow a little bit. We already should be in a position where we're very comfortable, and I am, but could always be a little bit more comfortable, you know what I mean? But we should have nothing to fear here. Yeah, absolutely. You might be surprised. I'm not intending to go to the multiplex this weekend. I still want to see Midsommar. But you know, I don't have to see it week 1, week 2, you know? I can wait it out. And we're going to see the Lion King on opening day. Don't shoot the messenger. Look, for the most part, I understand. You know, previously, a lot of the, I phrased it as negativity that people were like, is this really necessary? That this exists? Sure, it's competent, but is it necessary? Then when the movie, you know, was open to a wider review audience, the #1 complaint in reviews is like, it's pretty good, but it definitely does not need to exist. Now I'm like, okay, it's a bad look for me in that earlier episode, and I apologize. I don't necessarily think an apology is warranted, but I think you know what I mean. Now I'm like, okay, your criticism was valid, and, you know, turns out I was a little bit of a hypocrite to say that you should rely on the opinions of the people who have already seen it, to some extent. That being said, I'm still going to see it, and I'm going to let you know I'm still going to cry like a baby. Even if I'm like, it's just workman-like, you know, I'm still going to be like, that lion is a freaking king, dude. First, like, his dad was a king, but now, like, he's a, you know, like, it's gonna get me in a big way. Guaranteed. How on earth did we dodge our item room? We did, like, the whole floor. Okay, 33% chance. This would be a great opportunity to beat the odds. Very dangerous, but now he's played right into my hand. He's opened up the game a little bit here. Very bad. I mean, these should not hit us. That's what I'm looking for right there. And we got 1.8 speed, so, like, best of luck to you ever accomplishing anything in this town ever again, my man. You will not catch me. We got a Cuba meet. We got the songs that remind us of the good times. We got the songs that remind us of the best times. Everything's still going fine. We definitely, at this point, probably want to hit the shop up. And, I think I'll try that. Dude, that was an extremely lucky get. Worth way more than the expected value of one item room. But obviously, like, I would still like to go to the item room as well. So, trying to do the right thing. We'll catch that on the return passage here. Really, especially with the world card, we're in a mighty good spot. And Cricket's head has, I mean, not quite doubled our damage, but come real close. We also, I just noticed, got Little Brim. And Little Brim is a big helper. Definitely do not want to put that image out there that what I want out of this run is to walk into enemies over and over. Ah, no keys, huh? But it hasn't necessarily been hurting us too much. Hoping for a stars card. Hoping for a stars card. You know what? There's still one chance. We should definitely take it. With the world card, we should be super okay to get to boss rush, look at all 4 items and go, they're good, but are they really spend 10 minutes of my life to get a little extra bonus good? I look at boss rush as kind of like taking care of business and or working overtime. And, you know, if financially you're set and you think it'd be better for your mental well-being to just work the shifts you've been given, I think that's the approach you should probably take. Yo, Temperance is insanely good. IV bag is also fine. We're going low here, because this is what we really want to glean out of... I mean, first off, we're going to get an item. It's starter deck, which is actually pretty good, especially with Tarot Cloth. We also just got Blood Bag, which obviously justifies the whole thing to begin with. And then on top of that, Cane and Conception just got a huge boost for us moving forwards. So, as of right now, everything's going hunky-dory, dude. Curse of the Lost. That's the most unhunky and or dory thing. I was actually just about to do a bit that I've done before, and then I realized I've done it before, but forgotten the answer. Forgot where hunky-dory's etymology came from. I love the etymology of an idiom, because it teaches you not just something about the words, but something about history, you know, most of the time. Oh, back in the 16th century, a hunky was a person who assumed the role of what today we would call a longshoreman. And if the logs were very well organized, it was called dory. As a result, good things became hunky-dory. You know, teaches you, gives you a little history lesson, a little slice of life, a little reminder that we're not the first people here to live on planet Earth, and people lived their whole existence, you know, formed language to their own specifications and requirements for the unique pressures that they went through in their own lives. It's not their fault they were born 400 years before the invention of YouTube like an idiot, you know, it's their parents' fault. I lament it because I'm like, man, that's a lot of extra. I really think my YouTube audience, it could be, I don't know, 1.4 times bigger if I existed in the Victorian times. What's the deal with these kids in their fancy dress? A corduroy shirt's not good enough for you? Spend all your monthly income on silk garments again? You know what? We got the speed necessary for this. I don't know why that's a gaslight of myself. Well, I mean, they're pretty good, but do we really want to spend 10 minutes for a minor upgrade? That's not me at all. I am very rarely a kids these days. I have a very simple thing about millennials, you know? I can make fun of millennials. I am a millennial. As soon as, you know, somebody outside of the millennial demographic starts to go, well, like, I don't understand, like, it's a participation trophy. I'm like, hey, listen, boomer, shut your mouth. Okay? Go back to watching Flip or Flop. Watching the value of your house inflate by 400% over the last decade, despite you doing absolutely nothing, and then posting on Facebook about how kids these days, oh, they just don't have the same intestinal fortitude that we had back in the day. All right, more power to you. You know? Now, if someone my age was like, you know, we face unique economic pressures, I would be like, well, that's true. I also think our generation has a unique constitution that has made us more empathetic, probably than our parents' generation, more socially conscious and environmentally conscious for sure. But perhaps that has also come, for some people, at the expense of, you know, being able to sacrifice oneself to be a cog in the capitalist machine. And, you know, there's obviously positives that come across with that, but negatives as well. But as soon as like somebody over the age of 45 says something like that, I'm like, boomer! Excuse me, boomer alert, go home please. Only we can insult each other, okay? All you get to do is apologize. What do you got? Guppy? 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 Wow, 3 Guppy items. Amazing. I'm truly blessed on today's run. I actually am. I mean, we got a lot of really, really good stuff going for us here. Might as well give it a try, and it did work out for us there. We should face, you know, very little potential danger on the way upwards here. Downwards? Yeah, that's a weird mistake after playing Isaac for so long. But I gotta say, this is the kind of run, and I think, you know, we can stack these runs together. It's not the game's fault all the time. But this is the kind of run that you can start building the foundation of a good month of content on. You know? The run has given us early boosts. Those early boosts have contributed to a rise in confidence. That rise in confidence has given me more rewards, which also is influenced by the luck of the seed. No, not a doubt about it. The amount of good stuff we've gotten continues to make my confidence rise, and now I'm like, dude, I'm having a lot of fun playing Isaac again. It's only, you know, and it's not fair to the game 100% of the time, but it's the runs where you get absolutely nothing, and you're like, okay, it's just a slow march to my inevitable demise. Like a good Isaac episode is like an episode of Game of Thrones at its peak, you know? There's intrigue, there's conversation to think about, and, you know, there's action, set pieces, ladders, and then, a bad episode of Isaac, or an episode of Isaac where there's no, potential for success, is basically like an episode of Chernobyl. Still, hopefully, an entertaining show. And also thought-provoking, for sure. But really, it's just a slow pan over a man's face as he realizes that he's not dead, but he's doomed to die. That's what a lot of these recent Isaac episodes have been. I definitely prefer the... For my personal taste, I prefer the bombasticness of a little Game of Thrones. Okay, thank you. Now, in terms of actual television, I don't know. I mean, it's very in vogue to dislike Game of Thrones because the last season was not very good. You know, don't shoot the messenger. But, you know, Game of Thrones at its peak, oh, it's one of the most entertaining shows ever watched. Not quite at some of the, you know, Breaking Bad levels. Hey, I'm just going to tell you, I haven't seen The Wire, haven't seen The Sopranos. You know, Game of Thrones is still prestige television, but it's definitely, it didn't have the same kind of, I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. It didn't have the same kind of, like, you know how there's, like, a difference between great movies? You know, like, The Avengers Endgame is a great movie. I truly believe that. And I believe that it is art. But simultaneously, it's different. And is great for different reasons than a movie like, let's say, The King's Speech is, you know? King's Speech is quiet, more mature, I think is, I hate to say it, but yeah, probably a good way to describe it. More subdued and understated. That's like the difference between like a Game of Thrones and a Breaking Bad for me. And that doesn't necessarily, I think people falsely assume that, you know, the more subdued is maybe always going to be better, but it depends what you're looking for. Let's get rid of that. So I struggle to say, is Game of Thrones one of the best television programs I ever watched? Probably not, but for a few seasons, it was definitely like the most fun on television. And fun is not always easy to craft. It's not like you just throw a bunch of, you know, I know people are like, oh, well, it's because there was fighting and nudity. It's not because there was fighting and nudity. What is Adam Scott say in Parks and Recreation? He's like, they're telling human stories in a medieval context. That's what it was, because there was something behind the fights, dude. There's so many garbage like Game of Thrones inspired shows on Netflix. I've seen a lot of them that are like, you know, they have fighting in them. And it's always, like, really, really unsatisfying. Not just because the choreography is worse, but because you're like, I mean, you haven't sold me on anything yet. Just watching two dudes fight, I could go to Live League. That's rude. Trap me in the corner like a freaking Mortal Kombat pro. Okay. Dude, great run. I'm leaving this one. I didn't even mention we got a succubus. It's a beautiful addition here. Especially with 13 or 12 damage to begin with. Cambia Conception paid dividends. They gave us two of the better familiars without a single doubt in my mind. But for now, the time has come, you know, finish this episode off, put a bow on it. Really quick one as well. And then... oh, so good. Start thinking about the next one. Start remembering, hey, you know, you are mortal. You are mortal. You know, give myself my own freaking tribute here. Not in that way, grosso. Okay, we're going over here. I know all the internet slang. You know, I heard a quote that's like, you know, every generation thinks it invented being naughty in so many words. Sometimes people, you know, a Mario level will be called CBT or something like that, and I'll be like, you know, I don't know if that means what you think it means, brother. People in chat are like, NL, you don't know what it is? It's a weird thing. I've been on the internet since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. You think I've never come across a video of somebody's, you know, unmentionables getting stepped on by a high-heeled shoe? Back in the day, there was no content moderation. You'd just be hanging out on a website, all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, there's a dude with no face, you know? It happened all the time. I've seen it all. If anything, y'all are growing up in a more sterilized internet than I had access to. I was rolling around in the mud. I've got an internet immune system, the likes of which you can only envy. You think just because you've been on the Tumblrs and the 4chans that you've seen weird. Well, maybe a little, but I'll give you that one. They were there when I was a kid, too. Not so much Tumblr. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. We've done it. Easy run, easy life. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you have, click the like button. It helps us out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!